We have this tweet from Curtis Hoke, and it's Peter Doocy. And this is really funny because he's giving Karine Jean-Pierre a layup. Axios is reporting that Kamala is trying to distance herself from Biden's unpopularity on the economy. And Karine Jean-Pierre is so stupid. She's like, nuh-uh. Kamala is part of the administration. You got to hear this. This is amazing. Shout out to Doocy.
When did you guys learn that Vice President Harris wants to distance herself from Bidenomics?
Why do you think that?
Axios is now reporting that she is hoping to distance herself from President Biden's unpopularity on the economy. Can you blame her?
Do you know this is the Biden-Harris administration? Are you aware that this is the Biden-Harris administration? It is indeed the vice president.
But if the president's policies on the economy were working, or if they were popular, wouldn't he still be the candidate?
You literally just had the chair of the CEA here who laid out a pretty robust point by point about the economy and what has happened under the Biden-Harris administration. And I thought it was pretty convincing. Look, as far as anything that the vice president wants to do, or as she's talking about her policy that's campaign related, you would have to speak to her. One thing that I know for sure is that this president, this vice president are fighting very hard to make sure that the middle class is stronger. They wanted to make sure that we're working to cut taxes for the middle class, for working people, slashing cost for working families, as you have seen them do over and over again. This is something that we believe in. You heard Jared talk about announcements this week about lowering cost, and that is something that they believe in. And the contrast could not be more stark between, if anything, the contrast is between what Republicans want to do, MAGAnomics. You're talking about Bidenomics. MAGAnomics supercharge inflation. That's what they want to do. Raise taxes.
What? Has Donald Trump come out and be like, we need more inflation? But let me just, we'll play the rest of the clip, I guess.
On the middle class by thousands of dollars. Send tax cuts through the roof. Protect corporate price gouging.
Send tax cuts through the roof.
That sounds like a good thing.
Yeah.
Cut Social Security. Cost millions their health care. And heap tax giveaways on billionaires and big corporations. That's the division.
What I love with this clip, Kamala is probably sitting there going, stop. She's trying as hard as she can to say that she's not involved. She's literally saying on day one, I'll fix these problems. And Karine Jean-Pierre is like, what do you mean? Kamala's been here the whole time.
She's been fixing them.
Yeah, right. She's fighting very, very hard right now. She's the problem.
During the first 2 years, there was I felt like a very serious push from Harris's camp to say, you have to stop calling it the Biden administration. It's the Biden-Harris administration. She wanted her name on there.
She wasn't even, nobody heard from her for 3 years.
And that was because she wasn't capable of anything. But that's apparently besides the point. Now that she is the incumbent.
First 3 years, everybody was like, where is she?
Let me play this.
But would you admit, at least, that if Bidenomics was more popular, President Biden would still be...
I'm not going to get into polling. What I will tell you is Bidenomics has been something that both the president and the vice president has worked on. You guys have called it Bidenomics.
Is she intentionally sabotaging Kamala Harris? Let me tell you, Bidenomics, people are upset right now with the economy. And she's like, nope, Kamala did it.
Well, she must.
Right, she did.
And people love the economy.
They must be mad at her at a certain point,
Yeah.
right? Like, she was primed and ready to take this position. Now they're all tied to this sinking ship, which is the Biden, no Harris administration, because she's out on the campaign trail.
I wonder if just because their polling's good, she's like, doesn't even matter. Maybe they're starting to kind of feel like it's a runaway train and she doesn't even care.
I don't know. CNN actually did this reporting where they said if you compare 2016-20 and 2024 polling, if you look at the 2016 polling in actuals, 2020 polling in actuals, and polling today, they were like consistently Democrats are favored, like erroneously.
Yeah.
And if you were to compare the actual numbers, Trump is actually up by like 2 points.
I think they're overpolled too. Like they're disproportionately polled Democrats. So then I think it's going to be a repeat of 2016 where it's going to seem like Harris is going to win. And then she's going to lose on election day.
I had heard a pollster, an interview with a pollster.
Oh, the left is going to go nuts.
A pollster who said he was actually having a hard time getting people to take part in polls. And he was saying it's like because they are all decided and, whatever else. But I actually wonder if it's because people are tired of it, right?
Yeah.
Like they are kind of set on who they're going to vote for and they just kind of want the election to be over with.
I think one of the issues is that a lot of polling these days are just internet. And
or
so-
phone calls. And man, think of the type of person who picks up
time to
their
pick up-
phone from an unknown number and
the
just
phone-
has a 5-minute call.
But the phone call thing, I get. That's how they always have done it, knocking on someone's door. But now it's just internet. Now you'll be browsing, YouTube, and you'll get an ad pop up ping like, take a survey. And then they're just going to say, well, our data suggests this individual was a 34-year-old woman, so it must be correct. And like, who knows? It could be, these polls could be based on somebody watching a video. The pollster then thinks the person watching the video, because the data being sent to them is a 34-year-old woman from Indiana, and it's like a 17-year-old guy in India working on a bot farm.
Sure.
And then he's just like, I want to vote for Trump. You know what I mean? And like, but for real, we don't even know if these online polls are actually accurate.
No.
They're not tracking the data heavily enough. It's just making assumptions. And then they have their margins of error. They have their science or whatever.
And I mean, a lot can happen between now and November. I mean, Trump has his sentencing on September 18th.
I'm excited. Yeah, we're going to have a party. We're going to order pizza. What day is that?
September 18th.
It's like a Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yeah, but I mean, he has a sentencing. I think the daughter of the judge,
it's a
Juan
Wednesday.
Merchant or whatever.
she made a ton of money off of this.
But apparently she's saying he's going to get a year in jail, and there's like rumors that they're preparing a section of Rikers Island currently. Whoa. For Trump's arrival.
Maybe that's why Harris won't agree to any other.
Yeah, she's like, haha, I know
like,
something
one on
you don't know.
September 10th, and then we won't talk about it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Really? I mean,
Yeah, there's a rumor that Rikers is getting prepared for the...
where you saw that on Twitter or
On
something?
Twitter, yeah. If you just type in
That
Rikers
proves
Island,
it. Maybe it's
Rikers.
true.
Well, it was not. I mean, again, I said rumor.
kidding, dude.
Said rumor.
On the polling thing, I participate in YouGov polling, and they ask you at the beginning, like, who you are, color, race, age, and stuff, and they don't know me. I could just put in whatever. I could say I'm 13. I could say I'm 75. So the polls, if they're online, if YouGov can be very inaccurate.
Yeah.
Results.
Yeah, I wouldn't trust the polling. I mean, also even the betting markets. Like, she has so much money, she can. Everybody's like, look at the betting markets are so much in favor of Kamala Harris. You're like, she could be just betting on herself, and then that changes the odds.
And I like saying I'm a Democrat, not just to put
Or
it
it's
out
just
there. You let 'em know.
I don't think the prediction markets, I think, are people just betting.
bet, yeah.
But when you look at the polls, the prediction markets will also move based on what the polling suggests. But-
Shapiro was 90% at one point.
wow.
He was like, it was like almost a lock.
Sometimes I feel like with
I mean,
betting-
Biden was.
Yeah,
Biden was at 90-something% for the Democrat nominee.
yeah, exactly.
And it's funny because in September of last year, I said he won't be the nominee. He can't be. I don't understand how they do this. If somebody watching that episode was just like, he's probably right, and then went and made a huge bet,
yeah,
Yeah.
the odds were so tremendous back then.
yeah.
Because you don't have to bet on someone you actually want to vote for. You just bet on who you.
You're just betting on what you think
Right.
the actual outcome
Whereas,
will be.
like-
And you're betting against, you're not even betting against the House. You're literally just, there's another person on the other side of that who's just
Right.
taking the other
Whereas
side.
at least with polls, like, except unless you're Raymond G and you're lying about all your demographics.
I didn't say I lie and all this.
Like theoretically, they're polling registered voters who
Yeah.
are likely to vote or who have kind of interests or whatever else. Like they're asking them their personal opinion as opposed to like, if you give us the right answer, you can
Sure.
get some money. That's
Right.
what the betting markets are doing. I don't know. I mean, it's really interesting. I'm gonna kind of tack back for a second. Like they're talking about the economy. We've been saying for a little while, I feel like at least this week, that Trump really needs to just focus on the issues because getting into the like mean girl name calling and who's weird and who's
Yeah.
mean, like it's a waste of time. And part of it is like Kamala Harris doesn't have any policies.
I was actually saying this week, because I was like, why isn't anybody talking? Neither of them are talking about home affordability, which seems to be a big issue. And there's apparently tomorrow she's going to release for, I think it's like a first time home buyer. If you've paid your rent on time for 2 years, like a $25,000
Yeah.
A government
I heard that
subsidy essentially
Oh.
towards a down payment.
I heard that she was going to announce that the government will manufacture a large block housing unit system in all major cities, and everyone will be allowed one unit, and then you'll get a book for which you can go to the store to ration out your...
Oh, that sounds nice.
None of that is true. That was a joke.
I mean, it makes sense. There are no more coconuts left in the tree, so
more
you have to
coconuts.
resort to new things.
There was that meme where it's like you wouldn't last 1 week in the asylum I grew up in or whatever.
Yeah.
My
Taylor
favorite...
Swift lyric.
Is it really? My favorite one is the "You wouldn't last 1 hour in the coconut tree I fell out of."
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Someone dubbed that song. 'cause
Are you
it's
big Swiftie?
all- I dabble.
What are they doing with ISIS? Are they going?
We're not organized right now.
Honestly, I saw that ISIS thing.
We're
I
all
go,
braced.
big mistake, ISIS.
I
That
thought
is
so,
not
too.
the people you want to go after.
And now they're
the
all braced for the
Swifties.
London shows, which
ISIS
London
is?
no, the Swifties.
Oh, I was like, if I was ISIS, I'd be like,
gotta keep up
putting out
here.
an apology video saying
They're
like,
not sorry.
wires crossed.
But you know, there was that big bombing at the Manchester Ariana Grande contest. So now that we have this like mass gathering of Swifties in London for, I don't think she has like 5 or 6 shows there.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting because now you have all these high-strung women who are going to be on high alert for something bad. Like, this is the worst thing you could have done to a European city, I think. But,
Sure.
What I also find is funny, there's an op-ed in the New York Times where they're saying Trump calling Kamala a communist is a sign that he's scared because red baiting is the same as race baiting, which is like so
they're
desperate
scared?
to me. Thanks for watching this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to check out the live show Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. on this channel. Subscribe and we'll see you all there.